Article 501.10 Bone of the National Electrical Code, or NEC, specifically addresses the use of equipment in Class 1, Division 2 locations. This section of the code is crucial for ensuring safety in areas where flammable gases, vapors, or liquids may be present. The core principle outlined in Article 501.10 Bone is that equipment that is not specifically approved for a Class 1, Division 2 location shall not be installed or used in such a location. This requirement emphasizes the importance of using equipment that has been tested and certified to meet the stringent safety standards necessary for operation in potentially hazardous environments. The term approved in this context refers to equipment that has been evaluated and listed by a recognized testing laboratory, such as Underwriters Laboratories, or UL, or another similar organization. This listing indicates that the equipment has been designed, tested, and found to comply with the applicable safety standards for Class 1, Division 2 locations. These standards are designed to minimize the risk of ignition in the presence of flammable substances. The requirements of Article 501.10 Bone extend beyond just the overall suitability of the equipment. Each individual component and the entire assembly must be appropriately rated for the specific hazardous location. This means that every part of the equipment, from the enclosure to the internal wiring and connections, must be designed to prevent the ignition of flammable substances. The NEC provides detailed guidelines on the types of equipment that are suitable for use in Class 1, Division 2 locations. These guidelines cover a wide range of electrical equipment, including lighting fixtures, motors, control panels, and wiring methods. The code also specifies the types of protection techniques that can be used to minimize the risk of ignition, such as explosion-proof enclosures, intrinsically safe circuits, and purged and pressurized systems. When selecting equipment for a Class 1, Division 2 location, it is essential to carefully review the equipment's markings and certifications to ensure that it is suitable for the intended application. The equipment should be clearly marked with the class, division, and group designations for which it has been approved. This information provides a clear indication of the equipment's suitability for use in a specific hazardous location. In addition to selecting approved equipment, it is also important to follow the manufacturer's installation instructions carefully. Proper installation is critical for ensuring that the equipment functions safely and effectively in a hazardous location. The installation instructions will typically provide detailed guidance on wiring methods, grounding requirements, and other important considerations. Furthermore, regular inspections and maintenance are essential for maintaining the safety of electrical equipment in Class 1, Division 2 locations. These inspections should be performed by qualified personnel who are familiar with the requirements of the NEC and the specific hazards associated with the location. During inspections, the equipment should be checked for signs of damage, wear, and corrosion. Any damaged or worn component should be replaced immediately. It is also important to ensure that all wiring connections are tight and secure and that all grounding connections are properly installed. The NEC also provides specific requirements for wiring methods in Class 1, Division 2 locations. These requirements are designed to minimize the risk of ignition by preventing the escape of sparks or hot particles from electrical equipment. Some of the common wiring methods that are permitted in Class 1, Division 2 locations include rigid metal conduit, intermediate metal conduit, and cable with a gas-tight continuous sheath. When using conduit, it is important to seal the conduit system to prevent the migration of flammable gases or vapors. Seal fittings should be installed at strategic locations in the conduit system, such as where the conduit enters or exits a hazardous location. These seal fittings are designed to block the passage of gases or vapors and prevent them from spreading to other areas. In addition to conduit, cable with a gas-tight continuous sheath can also be used in Class 1, Division 2 locations. This type of cable is designed to prevent the escape of flammable gases or vapors from the cable insulation. When using cable, it is important to select a cable that is specifically approved for use in hazardous locations. The cable should be marked with the class, division, and group designations for which it has been approved. The NEC also addresses the use of intrinsically safe circuits in Class 1, Division 2 locations. Intrinsically safe circuits are designed to limit the amount of energy available in the circuit to a level that is too low to ignite flammable substances. This protection technique is commonly used in instrumentation and control systems. When using intrinsically safe circuits, it is important to follow the manufacturer's instructions carefully. The intrinsically safe equipment must be properly installed and maintained to ensure that it functions safely and effectively. The NEC also permits the use of purged and pressurized systems in Class 1 Division 2 locations. These systems use a positive pressure of clean air or inert gas to prevent flammable substances from entering the equipment enclosure. Purged and pressurized systems are commonly used to protect large electrical equipment, such as motors and control panels. When using purged and pressurized systems, it is important to ensure that the system is properly designed and maintained. The system must be able to maintain a positive pressure within the enclosure at all times to prevent the entry of flammable substances. The NEC also requires that the system be equipped with alarms and interlocks to alert personnel to any malfunctions. In summary, Article 501.10 of the NEC is a critical safety requirement that must be followed when installing electrical equipment in Class 1 Division 2 locations. This requirement emphasizes the importance of using equipment that has been specifically approved for use in hazardous locations. By selecting approved equipment, following the manufacturer's installation instructions, and performing regular inspections and maintenance, it is possible to minimize the risk of ignition and ensure the safety of personnel and property in Class 1 Division 2 locations. Remember that the approval and marking of equipment for specific hazardous locations is paramount. You cannot circumvent the requirement for approved equipment by simply using a suitable conduit body or other protective measure. The entire assembly, including the temperature switch itself, must be appropriately rated for the Class 1 Division 2 Group D location. To further clarify, consider this specific scenario of a temperature switch intended for use in a Class 1 Division 2 Group D location. This classification signifies an area where flammable gases or vapors from specific substances categorized under Group D may be present under abnormal conditions. The temperature switch is designed to monitor the temperature of a process fluid, in this case, water, and provide a signal when a certain temperature threshold is reached. If the temperature switch is not marked as suitable for a Class 1 Division 2 Group D location, it means that it has not been tested and certified to meet the rigorous safety standards required for such environments. These standards address various potential ignition sources, including electrical arcing, hot surfaces, and static discharge. Installing the unapproved temperature switch in a conduit body that is suitable for the classification and adding a seal fitting does not change the fact that the switch itself is not rated for the hazardous location. The conduit body and seal fitting are designed to contain any potential explosion within the enclosure and prevent it from propagating to other areas. However, they do not address the risk of ignition from the switch itself. The temperature switch may contain components that could generate sparks or reach high temperatures under certain conditions. If these components are not properly enclosed or protected, they could ignite the flammable gases or vapors present in the Class 1 Division 2 Group D location, leading to a fire or explosion. Therefore, it is essential to use a temperature switch that is specifically designed and approved for use in Class 1 Division 2 Group D locations. These switches are typically constructed with explosion-proof enclosures that can withstand internal explosions without rupturing or allowing flames to escape. They may also incorporate intrinsically safe circuits that limit the amount of energy available to prevent ignition. In addition to the temperature switch itself, all other electrical components and wiring methods used in the Class 1 Division 2 Group D location must also be appropriately rated for the environment. This includes the wiring, connectors, and any other devices used to connect the temperature switch to the control system. Using the wrong type of equipment or wiring methods could create a potential ignition hazard. The NEC provides detailed guidance on the types of equipment and wiring methods that are suitable for use in Class 1 Division 2 Group D locations. It is important to consult the NEC and follow its requirements carefully to ensure the safety of the installation. In conclusion, the manufacturer is advised to use an unapproved temperature switch in a Class 1, Division 2, Group D location, even with a suitable conduit body and seal fitting, is incorrect and violates the requirements of the NEC. The temperature switch itself must be marked as suitable for the classification to ensure that it is designed and tested to prevent ignition of flammable gases or vapors. Always prioritize safety and adhere to the NEC guidelines when working in hazardous locations. Article 501.10 Bone is very clear. Equipment must be specifically approved for the Class 1, Division 2 location in which it is installed. This ensures that all components, not just the enclosure, are designed to prevent ignition. In the scenario presented, the temperature switch, as an individual piece of equipment, is not approved for the hazardous location. Adding a conduit body and seal fitting does not make the switch itself compliant. The primary concern is preventing ignition. An unapproved switch may have components that can spark or overheat, potentially igniting the surrounding atmosphere. Approved equipment undergoes rigorous testing to ensure it will not cause an ignition under normal or fault conditions. Conduit bodies and seal fittings are important for containing explosions, but they do not eliminate the initial risk of ignition from the unapproved equipment. Thinking about this from a practical standpoint, consider the markings on approved equipment. Equipment approved for Class 1, Division 2, Group D locations will have specific markings indicating its suitability. These markings are a visual confirmation that the equipment has been tested and certified by a recognized testing laboratory. Absence of these markings should be a clear indication that the equipment is not approved for the hazardous location. Furthermore, insurance companies and regulatory bodies often require documentation demonstrating compliance with the NEC. Using unapproved equipment can void insurance coverage and lead to fines or other penalties. It is also important to remember that the classification of a hazardous location is based on the potential for flammable substances to be present. A Class 1, Division 2, Group D location is an area where flammable gases or vapors are likely to be present under abnormal conditions such as a leak or spill. Therefore, it is crucial to take all necessary precautions to prevent ignition in these areas. In addition to using approved equipment, other safety measures may include proper ventilation, grounding, and bonding. Regular inspections and maintenance are also essential for identifying and correcting any potential hazards. To reinforce the importance of using approved equipment, consider the potential consequences of using unapproved equipment in a hazardous location. A fire or explosion could result in serious injuries, fatalities, property damage, and environmental contamination. The cost of using approved equipment is minimal compared to the potential costs associated with an accident. In conclusion, the NEC Article 501.10 Bone is a critical safety requirement that must be strictly followed when installing electrical equipment in hazardous locations. The temperature switch itself must be approved for the Class 1, Division 2, Group D location, regardless of any additional measures such as conduit bodies or seal fittings. Prioritize safety and always adhere to the NEC guidelines when working in hazardous environments.